there's a lot more to it than what I think we're had the funding to do the research on. So I'm kind of excited to see the kind of work that they're doing. I'd like to take a moment here. We have a lunch coming up, and we have a Chad Droubay, I think is how he says his name, is here for. He'd like to take a few minutes. He's the sponsor of our lunches for today and tomorrow. So we want to give him a round of applause and thank you for helping out with executive. And want to give him a few minutes to kind of tell a little bit about the Farm Bureau and vet services and things that they have available for, especially for the commercial guys and the smaller operations. Anyway, we'll give him a few minutes to kind of chat there. Thank you.
Well, good afternoon. I appreciate you guys letting me take a minute. I'm a neighbor to Logan Cleaver. And so Logan latched onto me one day and said, hey, you got to come up to this bee convention. And so that's why we're here. My name, like you said, Chad Droubay, down in the middle of nowhere, Delta, Utah, great place to be from. And I'm with Farm Bureau Financial Services in the insurance world. Today, what I came to specifically discuss was the PRF program, the drought insurance. And so I'm sure most of you are familiar with that. It's become a pretty awesome thing in my mind for our ag producers across the United States of America. Not only is it for our cattle guys, but it's for our bee guys as well. You guys here, out doing your thing, making sure that your bees are healthy, they're producing honey, and this can help you battle through the droughts that we've been through. So with permission of one of my clients, I just want to tell a quick story and kind of what they went through. So it was probably about 7 years ago, this particular client was introduced to the PRF program. If you don't know what I'm talking about, then I will be around at lunch and we really need to discuss this, but I'm not going to get into the weeds on the nitty gritty of what the program does, but kind of give you the high level look. So this client signed up with another producer. It was going to go great. They put all their hives into the program, and they landed all that money right onto one grid, one location. Well, what happened is it happened to rain a whole bunch in that one location, and ended up now costing this beekeeper roughly $48,000 for that 1 year. So it was a pretty good hit, and everything that he'd seen, this producer had seen, showed that the chances of them losing that $48,000 was really, really low based on historical data and all the charts, everything else. But it happened. And so shortly thereafter, about the next year, I started talking to this producer. Said, hey, you got to look at this. And he looked at me like I was the craziest guy in the world. Like, why would I ever think about jumping back into this thing when it just cost me $48,000? So I said, oh, man, that's a tough hill to climb to overcome that obstacle. So I said, all right, I'll come back next year. We'll talk about it again. So I came back the next year and said, just give me all your locations. Where are you putting bees at? Give me your locations. Let me do a little research. Let me see what we can do. And then tell me exactly what happened. Show me where your bees were landed in that last program. So he showed me. He gave me all his locations. We jumped in. We did a little bit of research. And we were able to create a portfolio that was diversified enough to minimize risk and maximize return. I'm talking about the PRF program, not your retirement portfolio right now, right? But it sounds very, very similar, okay? So the diversification is very important. You land everything in one spot. Now all of a sudden, all your eggs are in one basket, and you got yourself a real risk. Possibility of return, absolutely, but real risk. So we showed them, and this was right here in Utah. his locations right here in good old Utah. We diversified them really well, spread things out. And just quick, I'll finish with this. Over the last 4 years, this particular producer, and results change, results are different for everybody, right? But this particular producer, over the last 4 years, has netted, walked away with just a little over $243,000, which is on average just a little under 61 grand in a year. So I service multiple B accounts, and I've worked pretty hard to make sure they understand that we're going to work hard to make sure they're put in the right spots at the right times to minimize risk, maximize return. And that's what I love to do. I'm in the insurance world. You guys all have insurance. It's not very often your insurance guy writes you a check, right? He's always out there standing looking, hey, you got to pay your premium, got to pay your premium, got to pay your premium. So this is a product that I'm very passionate about, that it gives us a chance to get money back into your hands. Very, very good product. Done a lot of great things for a lot of people. And so today, if you're okay with it, I'll just walk around, hand you a card, shake your hand. I'm a low pressure salesperson. I promise I'm not going to walk you into anything you don't want to get into, but I at least just want to say hello and introduce myself while you guys have lunch, if that's okay. But thank you for your time. Appreciate it.
I don't know if Seth is probably out getting their lunch ready. Is the lunch showed up yet? Will
Just be 1 minute.
Okay, we'll give you 1 minute. Just want to give you my 2 bits about the rain insurance you talked about. If it's done properly, it can be a benefit to your operation. And of course, the idea is to take the risk out of, in honey production. If we have a wetter year, we have better honey production. It one follows the other. And so when we have a really dry year, it really impacts the amount of honey we're able to produce, whether it's a backyard operation. And I'm not sure the insurance is necessary for one hive in the backyard, but for larger operations, it can be, it evens out the income so that you're able to kind of stay in business even on the years when it's not as prolific as it was. Like year before last was a really good year. Last year wasn't as good a year. It kind of goes up and down depending on when the rain comes and how long it lasts. So want to